welcome to another episode by the Rail Side Podcast. Some people call it shit. I call it podcast. With us today we got Jordan. And we got Jeff.
Yeah, that's me.
Don't forget to go and follow us on that Instagram and Twitter and we stream on Twitch, I reckon, every Saturday, Friday, and Tuesday.
From the moment you started, all I could think about is chocolate. They're selling chocolate.
Mike Wazowski.
If you couldn't tell by that, which I would understand if you couldn't, we reviewed the movie Sling Blade, starring Billy Bob Thornton, John Ritter, Lucas Black, and a woman.
And for the description, I'm going to try and do a Sling Blade impression. Jeff, give me a number, 1, 2, or 3.
That's a solid 3.
All right, we're going to go with the Todd K. Bauman, TK Bauman. Oh, I probably shouldn't say his email.
Just God.
Carl Trowler, no man, released from the psychiatric hospital where he was grown up. I reckon he killed his mama. That's it.
All right.
Minimal information. That's not the actual thing. Carl Childers, now a grown man, is released from a psychiatric hospital where he's been hospitalized since the age of 12 for the murder of his mother and her lover. He returns to his childhood home and, although being mentally handicapped, gets a job fixing small motors at a local repair shop. Carl befriends a young boy, Frank, and is soon invited by Frank's mother, Linda, to move into the family's garage. As a strong relationship develops between Carl and Frank, a confrontation builds with Linda's abusive and sometimes violent boyfriend, Doyle.
Yes, his mother's named Linda, and the actress that plays her is Natalie Cannerday. All right,
Is that the aforementioned woman?
Yeah, I couldn't think of her name. So yeah, let's we'll jump right into the actual review of it, what we thought of it, and then we'll go from there. So let's start this week with Jordan.
We never start with you.
No,
Why is that? Because you just want to deflect because you don't know what you're going to say. You don't know what you think.
I got a whole list.
That's like 17 points.
That's
I've
a
got
list.
17 paragraphs.
So no, you don't.
Yeah, do you? Fuck you, kid.
You don't know how to
1,
write
2,
that
3,
many.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, 14. Multi-sentence bullet points.
Okay.
$25 for Bush? Them's were the days. And then I put immediately after, lol, he got punked with a wiener.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you don't go to a reputable source for your Bush. I don't know. I really enjoyed the movie. I thought it was like, this will probably be one of the highest rated ones, in my opinion. The only thing holding us back is Jeff. I don't know what he's gonna think about the movie. But fuck him, because this is my turn right now. This is my 15 minutes in the Spotlight Fames. But yeah, I liked the movie. The cinematography was very well done. There were some points where I originally was gonna say that it lingered a bit. Like the shot would just stay there for, I thought, way too long. But I think it fits with the character, because most of the time it's on Carl.
Yeah.
And Carl's character, for whatever fucking reason, just lingers. Always. Yeah, you think you're alone? Nope, Carl's probably watching you from somewhere. He doesn't understand you have to knock on doors to get into places. Because he grew up in a mental institution. So there was always someone there to open the door for him. I think that's why he doesn't understand. But the plot is great. The storytelling is great. There wasn't a lot of comedy to it, which I don't really know the genre of the movie. I didn't look it up beforehand. But you can definitely tell it was an older movie because it's not like the ones of today where there absolutely has to be like a piece of every fucking genre in the movie.
Yeah.
Like this one stayed true to the story itself. There was no side plots. It was just information on the characters and the story. That was it. It wasn't like, oh, but Jenny from down the block at the hairdresser's. Oh, she's fucking Carl. He works as a part-time used vacuum sales. What are they? You think they're gonna fall in love?
Well, it did have a little bit of that love
Yep.
element when they like.
Hanging.
What's that?
I said, but the gay guy fucked the other gay guy in the crematorium or whatever.
Yeah, but he was a crucial part to the story. I'm talking about like movies will bring up like side characters that have no in their relationship that has no impact on the story. I think that was used to show how malicious the small town was about him being a gay guy.
Yeah, and then bring it into like not a friendship thing, but sort of show how the connection would build from there because it's basically two outsiders, and one being mentally handicapped and the other one being
Sling Blade.
Yeah. They're like being gay because of the mindset, the lack of understanding, and probably they seem like real idiots.
Yeah,
throughout the whole town. But
It's
I was
Arkansas.
I was talking about the attempted love connection that they were trying to force upon Carl with that other mentally handicapped employee of the month from the dollar.
I honestly thought that fit because people don't know when to butt the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, and that's something that I've noticed as I've been growing up. Like, people will stick their nose wherever the fuck they want, even though it's like it would be common sense. Be like, hey, I noticed that you're walking a little funny. You get a little in the bum hole, you know, bum, you know, No, stay out of my business, Shannon. And I thought they showed that well by getting like the mom to try and force a relationship. I've never understood it personally. You don't know Carl well enough. First off, he said probably 4 paragraphs to you since he got here.
One of them being the admittance of him murdering his mother and
her boyfriend.
Yeah.
So you don't really know much about him. What you know about him is that he just got out of the mental institution for killing his mom and her boyfriend. He lives in your garage, and he is best friends with your child.
Yeah.
I'm gonna set him up with the girl. I know another special little lady just like you, Carl. What do you mean? I don't want to. She's retarded.
Yeah, that's another way you can tell it's an old film. These retard quite a bit throughout the whole thing, especially with the descriptions of Carl, and then especially when he asks, "What's wrong with him?" Oh, he was in the mental institution. You know that? Oh yeah, I'm sure it's just because he's retarded. Okay.
Yeah, back then that was perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
My son's got a mental handicap. Ship him off to the loony bin. This is where you live now, Greg. We're gonna visit you once every 5 years.
Well, that's where the word came from. Like mental, when someone said, "Oh, you have mental retardation," it's because retard in French is late. So you're delayed. That's why we switched over to mentally delayed, because you're mentally late. But then people started using it maliciously, and
yeah, retard just means slow, right?
You can use anything maliciously.
Yeah.
Do you know there's a subsection of gay people that call straight people breeders?
Yeah.
Like, what's the word? Maliciously.
Yeah. Which is weird, because, like, if you didn't have
fucking breeders.
If you didn't have breeders,
yeah,
you wouldn't have anyone.
Yeah. There would be no diversity.
That's why I hate them.
They made me.
30 years ago, 2 people had sex. Now I have to pay taxes. What the fuck?
Such bullshit. That's one of the greatest cons of life. Everyone's like, "Oh no, you have to propagate the species. Like you have to keep the human race going." No, you just want my tax money.
All right, Jeff, what did you think of the film?
It was very filmish. Overall, it wasn't bad. I thought at the very beginning, I was going to absolutely hate it, because the very first scene was that other like murderer rapist guy just like slowly dragging a chair across the screen for like 15 seconds. I was like, if the whole movie's like this, I'm just gonna shut it fucking off. But I mean, it set the tone as like, this is going to be an uncomfortable movie, uh, and it didn't like overdo it. I don't think. I I agree with Jordan for the most part. There isn't a whole lot of like side plot weird bullshit that didn't need to be said, but I do think the whole like setting Carl up with the girl and then nothing ever coming about that, like, and there wasn't even payoff at the very end when he's planning on going back to the mental institute. He's planning on, spoiler alert, killing the dude, right? Like he knows he set everything up with the kid. He set everything up for the mom. He never, the chick, no, doesn't care. There was no payoff to that whole scene whatsoever. So I think that was either like, I know there was some cut from the end movie, so maybe that was involved in that. But I think if you're going to cut any kind of payoff with that, you might as well just cut the whole, like, let's go on a walk and fucking make the retards spend time together kind of thing altogether, because it really didn't change the movie whatsoever. But other than that, like, I think the guy did a pretty good job. Is that Billy Bob Thornton or whatever his name is?
Yeah, Billy Bob Thornton is the one that played Carl. He actually wrote and directed this movie as well.
Yeah, I think he did a pretty good job. There was points in the movie where he was sitting and standing and didn't have anything in his hand, and he wasn't wringing his hands. So there's just like small continuity errors, because he's supposed to be like not only mentally retarded, but he's supposed to be like autistic, right? He has tics that he does all the time and whatnot, and sometimes he just didn't do the tics, and that's just little bits and pieces being picky, right? The story, the main thing about the main problem I had with the movie was that you knew what was going to happen at the end from like 10% of the way through the movie. The first time you meet the mother's boyfriend or whatever, you know how this is going to end, right? Like, it's basically, he's going to be an asshole to the kid. The retard's going to get offended and stick up for him. It's either going to be like a spur of the moment thing, is what I was assuming, more spur of the moment rather than like just planning on murdering the guy. But you knew that's what it's going to come down to, right? So there wasn't a whole lot of like surprise. It was just kind of 2 hours of grinding towards this inevitable end. And a lot of the 2 hours was, I wouldn't say inconsequential, but like there was no, most stories, there's like a build up near the end of the middle. Like there's 3-act structure, right? Like there's a build up at the end of the first third, and then there's a small payoff, and then a build up at the end of the second third, and a small payoff kind of thing. This movie was just kind of like flatlined until the end, and then there was that like very predictable spike, and that was about it. The only other like spike in action would have been the like super drunk and fighting in the house scene, which I thought was really well done with the way the camera never moved. That's one thing I did really like about this movie, was there wasn't fucking jump cuts every 30 goddamn milliseconds. It just put the camera down, it showed the whole scene, the scene went as it went, and there wasn't like, we need 17 different angles of this fucking conversation for no apparent reason whatsoever. So other than the drunken like fight part, there wasn't a whole lot of like climax or anything. It was basically just a very long story, and that didn't have like a whole lot of conflict in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they start out by saying like, oh, he's getting out of the mental institutions, and everything's going to be real hard for him and all this. Other than the first day where he just like walked around for, I don't know, the whole day, there was never anything ever went wrong for the retarded guy. He got a place to sleep that night. He immediately had a job the next day. He had people basically falling over themselves to give him somewhere to stay. He was getting paid. People were making him food. Like, there was no struggles for this guy who had for this mentally retarded guy who had been in an insane asylum for 25 or 55 years. He looked really old. I don't know how long he was actually in there for. And had nowhere to go. There was no struggles at all for this character, and that's kind of whatever. But after all that rambling, I overall generally didn't mind this movie. I thought it was okay.
I wanted to say two things. Math probably would have been fairly hard for him. And I was just thinking, like, as you were saying it, I was mulling it over in my head with the Employee of the Month. I can't remember the character's name. That might have been just set up to try to give him some normalcy, right? Because, like, they've been working with this girl for God knows how long, and she's got Employee of the Month. So either they're taking pity on her and be like, hey, throw the girl a gold star and give her a cupcake, or she actually earned it.
Yeah.
So they know, like, even though that there's something wrong, there's mental deficiencies, they can lead a normal life. So I think that was the setup for that. Like, they're trying to get him into the habit of, like, leading a normal life, doing normal shit. And then the moment that Doyle almost hit Frank was the moment that Carl was just like, okay, I'm killing him. Like, this is gonna happen. And then the rest of that was just him dropping off all his shit, tying up all the loose ends, and then sharpening his weapon.
Yeah, and maybe having that little, like, I'll just call it a play date or whatever, is also helps to explain like how you were saying, like how everyone sort of was just like giving him handouts. There was no real struggle. So maybe showing that they also deal with or have dealt with a person with mental disabilities before, and having that explained to because she pulls the kid aside after being worried, being like, this is a weird fucking dude, like, what the hell? And then the kid explains, like, what's going on and what's happening. And so that sort of shows kind of why they have that that nicety or that like willingness to help someone with a mental deficiency like Carl. But yeah, I definitely agree. Like, there was not too much action pack wise. There definitely, I enjoyed the certain scenes that made you feel tense, like, because you knew it was wrong. Like, anytime the boyfriend Doyle opened his mouth and started talking to either the kid or the mom, I could just see and just feel the manipulation and the manipulative tactics that abusive partners use. I was like, holy fuck. So it makes you feel uncomfortable there. Even people just talking about Carl and that, you're just like, holy fuck. Like, or the uncomfortableness of Vaughn, who's the gay guy, just like him not being able to even in the diner, just not, like, hardly able to say anything at all, to say it out loud. Was good. Billy Bob Thornton's acting in this was just spot on. Like, it's hard playing a character with some sort of either deficiency or handicap or anything like that without either going too light so that you don't know, or like jumping in, like how, like you never go full retard. It's just, what's that? That's off of
Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder. Never go full retard. It's one of those things where a few actors have actually been able to pull off, like Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man. Like, he nails that role.
Or Leo in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Yeah.
Actually, he did such a fantastic job. Like, on the red carpet, they were going to, like, interview him, and he obviously articulates well because he's not special ed. And they're like, wait, what? Like, they were expecting, like, oh, what's your favorite color? And he's just like, yeah, so it's red, and also there's a lot of stuff going on in the Middle East right now I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
I was expecting a fluff piece.
Again, I like you said, Jeff, I really enjoyed the not jumping around camera angles, because it lets you, it almost lets you, like, feel in the scene with them, and you could also, you pull out that awkwardness that Carl has, because he is autistic. And you just just watching him just sit there, not doing anything, and you're just like, holy fuck, you can't read social cues at all, dude. Holy shit.
I reckon.
And then I think what also helped with the build up with Doyle, the boyfriend, is that almost gave us an insight into like Carl's childhood. Like you go in and meet his dad in the like near the end, like he finally I don't know if he works up the courage, but or feels like he's in a place to go and see his dad. But it goes up until then, and you're just like, holy shit, this is almost. It seems like what Carl's childhood was like, especially with him describing it to Frank, the kid, living in a hole in the shed, and then I don't know if it got you, Jeff, but me and Jordan were just like shocked when he starts explaining to Frank how his dad made him bury or get rid of his little baby brother who was still alive. Yeah, that whole scene and like the monologue was just crazy.
Oh, I hate a lot of monologues in this movie. Like the beginning monologue when he's telling his story.
Yeah.
Fucking fantastic. I don't know if it's just Hollywood nowadays that they refuse to do that anymore, or people just genuinely can't remember fucking like a minute worth of dialogue.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know what happened to Hollywood where they needed jump cuts like that. I get it. It's a lot easier to edit movies now. Like instead of going and clipping the fucking film and then taping it back together where you need it, it's okay. I'm just gonna copy and paste on a keyboard and it's fine.
Yeah.
So I think that helped with it and contributed to the jump cut bullshit. I also don't think the action genre helped with that at all. Because now instead of having like a 3-second shot of an explosion, we have 19 seconds of 95 different fucking angles of it happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd say that's his opening monologue was probably the best one I've seen. Like, yeah. I can't recall too many monologues, but it's one of the better ones I've seen. Ouch. And I don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
Fucking theater kids remembering pages of dialogue.
I think with him, because he developed this character while working on another film. He had the idea for this character, and then he made a short, a little short called, I call it a Sling Blade, and then went into it, and it was just sort of like a little monologue thing. So once if you're the one, and with him also being the writer, if you're the one writing and also developing the character yourself, I think it helps give you that leeway, because then you just get into the mindset of it. Here's the things you want to hit, like even just little bullet points, bullied at school, see bully on top of mom, known for, so you can just be like, okay, well, if I'm bullied at school and he's going to end up on top of my mom, something's got to get me to the point of rage where I want to destroy this man. And then you add in, he was known for fondling the girls without their permission.
Taking advantage.
Yeah, taking advantage of the little girls around the neighborhood. So I think that's what helps with the monologues. But yeah, but that could also be because we don't watch too many of this like style. But so this is like, it's an indie film, but it's classified as drama. And most of the time when people want to be entertained, you're going for like the action movies or the comedy movies. Dramas tend to make you feel that it's not as much of it as an escape from your reality. So when people I like watching movies because it gets me out. So I like watching the Avengers because I'm just like, yeah, superheroes. Or I like watching like Due Date or other comedy movies because it puts me out or it makes me feel good. Whereas a drama, there's real, like they deal with real shit.
Yeah, but
it makes you uncomfortable.
Coming from a place of being real sad, sometimes you want to watch those types of movies.
Mm-hmm.
You got to remind yourself what feelings are. And that's real awkward. And I can't just watch anime for that because I'll be coming upstairs like, I need chat. And then I'll cry into your triple G bosoms.
God, yeah.
Anime bitches got hella titty.
They got insane titties, dude.
There were a few characters I did have issues with. Because I mean, you could definitely tell that at some points people were straight up just like reading off cue cards behind camera or hidden somewhere on set. The biggest one of them all was the mechanic. No, not the mechanic. The guy that owned the shop. All of his lines, I found, it didn't seem like he was playing a character in a movie. It sounded like he was just reading the lines off of a page.
Yeah.
Like, this was the first time that he's ever seen them. I don't know if that was intentional or just, like, bad acting. The other one was I want to say drummer? No, he was the guy playing the tambourine when Doyle called his band boys over. When
that
was
was the guy in the jumpsuit, right?
Yeah, the guy in the jumpsuit, which you hated because you're jealous you couldn't pull off that jumpsuit.
That jumpsuit had more rolls than a bakery. That was...
it wasn't the jumpsuit, that was him.
Well, the jumpsuit didn't help. It definitely accentuated quite a bit.
But yeah, like on the wide shot, when they were in the living room after they played the music, he was... you could tell he wasn't looking at anyone. He was looking off screen, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was fucking in the middle of the room, and he's looking off to the right, where there's absolutely no one but the camera. That was my biggest issue, I think, with the movie, is just, like, at some points it just felt like maybe they didn't have the budget to, like, hire actual actors, and they're just like, hey, you want to make some money? Just read these lines for the movie.
That dude was the first time. That was his first big role.
Okay, so maybe that could definitely...
The mechanic, anyways?
Yeah.
I had an issue with when they were sitting at the dinner table while Carl was out in the garage because he didn't want to eat dinner with them, and it was Frank, Doyle, and the mom, Linda.
Yeah.
And Linda went to go pour some gravy over her potatoes. And that shit was thick as fuck. That was a sludge of gravy coming out of this holder, which you could just tell and be like, hey, we've been trying to do this scene for a while. Or they're like, we just got to this scene, but they've had the food prepped for a little bit, and the gravy just congealed, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, I feel like that was definitely later on in the afternoon or the evening for those takes, because... like, everyone else was like, okay, we're eating dinner like a normal family. And the kid was like, I haven't eaten in 4 fucking days. Like, he was just shoveling the shit. Which I guess, like, some kids just do that normally. And you know what? Actually, that does make sense. Because the faster he finishes his plate, the faster he can leave the table with his abusive stepdad. / not stepdad, I don't know. He's sort of just like, hey, yeah, I'm marrying your mom.
Yeah.
But didn't she break up with you like last night? You came over to half apologize and then threaten her son? Go get some chicken, bitch. I want to yell at your kid.
Yeah. Tell Carl he's moving out.
When he's sitting right there. That's something I didn't understand either. Like, just look at Carl and be like, hey, can you, like, get the fuck out of my house, please? Yeah. You don't have to, like, tell the kid to tell Carl he's right there. You're touching him, in fact. Your legs are touching right now. They didn't really... I don't understand the point of, like, the whole backstory for his dad. Like, in the opening monologue, he went into, like, huge backstory with his dad. His dad was on screen for, what, 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
Yeah. Well, I think that was just to give, like, a picture of what led up to the crime. But I found, like, references to... like hate towards the father, or like wish of death upon the father, or just even like not patriarchal, maybe patriarchal, I don't know, paternal. Yeah, that's it. Paternal abuse, like throughout the entirety of the movie. Like it was very big, and so, and having that resolution not near the end, but it maybe in the like at the 3/4 mark where he actually walks in and talks to his dad. And I'm pretty sure he said he wanted to kill his dad too while he was there, but he was just like, but you're just sitting there anyways, and you'll just die off eventually. So see you later.
I feel like he probably had a lot of time to do that in the mental institution though, like because he said, well, judging off the first and the last scenes where you see him in the actual institution, he's just sitting there staring out of a window. He got plenty of time to think. So I don't know if he was saying like I am currently thinking or like I was on my way to kill you.
I think he did plan
He
it.
said he spent a long time thinking about it.
Yeah, so
he
that's
never
what
said he was really going to, right? So he was definitely thinking about it probably during the institution. And that kind of like confused me because I think it was it after that point when he went to that he had the like little talk with the kid about how he was forced to like bury his brother.
It was after that because that's while he was there, he also visited the grave of his.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Something actually, like, because you were bringing up the abuse in the movie, I wanted to look it up, not for fun, because abuse isn't fun, but for my own curiosity. Billy Bob Thornton was abused when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Which doesn't surprise me, because from personal experience, the abuse in this movie was very accurate.
Yeah.
And I was like the entire time, like, well, the stepfather, he wasn't the stepfather. We'll call him the stepfather. Well, Doyle was, I think, a shitty actor. At times, there was also times where it was like staring at an abusive father.
Yeah.
Like, if you were in that room, like on set, you wouldn't have known the difference unless you saw the cameras. Like, you would have just assumed he was being an abusive piece of shit. So I think that shows like he definitely had experience with that.
Back to with him thinking about killing his dad. I think it brought it up because in that scene, so in the beginning monologue when he ends it, and then the girl asks the question, "Will you kill again?" And before you get to flip back to to Carl, you get the reaction of the doctor being like, "I fucking said don't ask any questions. Are you crazy?" And then it goes when the camera pans back on Carl, he like looks up directly in her, and you almost get a sense that he wants to kill someone. Like he had a plan to kill someone, and then it builds up, and you see his dad, and then when he gets there, he mentions that he's read the Bible, doesn't understand all of it, but he grasps most of it, and then he says that story that you and Mom told me and said that was in there wasn't in there. So even with the abuse, I think that was another thing that just was set him off throughout the while he was being held in this institution. It was just like he fucking lied to me about this, and he was just like it almost seemed like that was one of the tipping points that he wanted to just fucking off him. Other than him being horrible.
Did they say what the story was?
They did not.
No, I think he was going to talk about Bible study, but his mom was too busy getting railed in the kitchen and murdered. Actually, I think I took a note. Yeah, waiting for Bible study, heard a scream from the house. It was Jesse Dixon raping his mom, ? Said having his way with her. Nope, turns out she was having an affair, so he cut that bitch with the Kaiser blade, a.k.a. Sling Blade. No regrets on his part. That was one of the things that didn't really shock me. But, I mean, kind of a little bit shocked me, like, because you watch any fucking thing now, interviews with psychopaths and killers and shit like that, or like, NCIS, you ask someone, like, oh, would you, if you could go back and change what you've done, would you do it? And only like the actual diagnosed psychopaths are like, no. There was what was it? The Iceman, I believe he was called. He was asked. He did like over 150 mafia hits. Like that was his job. And he was asked in an interview. He's like, do you regret anything? And he said, I regret one thing, and it was a guy asked for time to pray, so I gave him half an hour. He's like, yeah, I wish I should have just told him to turn around, and start praying, and then clipped him. And when Billy Bob Thornton was just like, nope, no regrets, like no hesitation, whereas before it was he would like sit and think about what he was gonna say. With that one, it was just like, no regrets. So he's a definite, I think, a psychopath. Like throughout the entire movie, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, he's a retard," etc. Like, no, he's got some shit going on behind his eyes. Like there's life in his eyes. Like he's thinking. Like Vaughn said, he's like, "I think you're a thinker."
Yeah.
Though at the time he was like, "I'm thinking about bringing me some French fried potatoes home."
Yeah.
But I truly think he was a lot smarter than he let on.
One thing that definitely bothered me about this movie was the unnecessary buildup at the beginning. He's got to have the lights out while talking to you for some reason, even though he was sitting in a light room earlier. Don't ask him any questions. He doesn't like his picture taken. Don't do this, don't do that. They're making him up to be like something, and then he's just a regular retard. Like throughout the rest of the movie, people ask him questions all the time. Why were they so worried about them asking him questions and whatnot? Like there was all that, don't do this, and nothing came of it. There was no reason for any of that. It was just unnecessary buildup.
I think that might have been just like the shitty psych system at the time, because like they knew he had something wrong with him, but they don't know what specifically. So they're like, okay, we're gonna just avoid any stimulation that could cause him to freak out. And I think that's why they probably put him in like the controlled room, so like the dark room, like calm him down a little bit, make sure he's comfortable. He's the one by the light. He can control that. Whereas now, like we have a diagnosis, like we know, like he was definitely autistic in some way, and then probably had some other stuff going on. But before, like, yeah, no, I don't. Brain go whoop. let's give him electroshock therapy.
Which is fine and all, but if they believed that, they also wouldn't have let him out, right?
Again, yeah, shitty medical system. Because like even the doctor, it didn't really seem like he cared all that much. He just wanted to make sure that like he had a place to stay, and that was it. And then he went back to the mechanics and just checked up on him, like, but it didn't seem like a fatherly checkup. Like, hey, are you doing okay? It was more like, hey, mechanic man that owns the business, has he stabbed anyone yet?
Yeah.
Remember I told you he killed his mom and her boyfriend?
What? One of the lighter notes that got me. I really enjoyed this one scene where you first are introduced to the boyfriend, and then Carl comes in, and it's Frank and Carl and Doyle just sitting there, and Doyle's like, "Oh, what's up with all them books?" He's like, "Oh, these are my books. Like this is the Bible. I read the Bible. I don't understand all of it, but I reckon I got most of it." And then the boyfriend's like, "Oh yeah, the Bible. See, I read that, and then it's like this begets this person begets this, he begets this, and then all of a sudden and then how retarded are you?" Just completely changes the subject. It's like I wanted to ask this question, but I had no way to get on this topic.
Segway.
So that's how you do it. Like speaking of segues, how like on a scale of 1 to 10, how retarded are you?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know.
246.
I'm trying to think, because like I thought in the moment when he was like sitting there, when Frank met Doyle Carl met Doyle for the first time. Doyle had a beer, and I don't remember seeing liquid in it at all, nor do I see him actually drink it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just like me not paying attention, but I remembered at one point, I think it was closer to the end of the scene, I was like, I don't think he's actually taking a drink, but it's like fucking empty.
It's foreshadowing when Frank went to go take a drink out of his milkshake pop thing while eating his fries with Vaughn.
He tried 2 times. Suck, nothing. Shake, suck, nothing. All right, we're gonna put that down. We'll go back to the mustard fries for now.
That's another thing everyone should have learned from this movie is apparently mustard is the superior condiment.
100%.
For retards.
Well, call me retarded.
I do. Don't worry.
I
Base
love
me
me
in
mustard. Loves me some Frenches.
4 o'clock in the morning asking for biscuits. Love that. Hey, lady, can you make me biscuits? The fact that she
After his quality telling of the joke.
Yeah.
He says like most of the joke, and he's like, and I think one of them was from Arkansas. You get it.
And then she just kind of chuckles because she's just so sleep deprived. Or she just wanted to make him feel like his joke was good.
I think he fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know the joke, I'm going to tell it to the best of my ability. From memory. Right after I burp. So a man from California and a man from Arkansas are sitting there pissing off a bridge. And the man from California says, man, water sure is cold here. And the man from Arkansas says, yeah, it's deep too. And now I'll explain it for those that don't understand. The man from California had a very long penis, and it touched the water from the bridge. And the man from Arkansas had an even longer penis, and it could tell the depth of the water.
Plumbed the depths.
How many fathoms long
That's
is
good.
your dick?
Because that joke went right over my head. I was like, what the fuck is
You didn't
this
get
guy?
it?
No, not at all.
You don't get it.
Well, because he
Time
said he was
to
pissing off a bridge.
Yeah.
I was like, why does this guy think the water's cold? He's pissing off a bridge. I was like, oh, maybe it's windy. He's blowing his piss at him. And this guy says, oh, it's deep too. And I was like, all right, so he's an idiot. So, which fits.
Says the idiot.
Yeah. These guys are dumb. This is not a funny joke.
It was a shit joke.
I'm sitting over here laughing with my massive cock. Dip it in the lake like, I understand.
I got an average penis. I don't understand the joke. It's not my fault.
Either that or you just haven't been on any underwater bridges.
Yeah.
Man, this water's real deep. You're fucking 4 feet underwater.
Oh, man. That's, what do you think about, you want to get baptized like Carl, Jeff?
That's how adults get baptized.
That blew my mind. I was like, that water is so dirty, there's no way it's holy.
No, it's holy water.
They're in Arkansas. That's all the water they have.
I got a question that is completely unrelated to this movie. But how effective is one priest's purification powers, let's say? So, like, because that priest was standing in a river, and he made it holy water. So, like, if you're standing on a beach in California, and you, like, with your feet in the water, and you're a priest, and you bless the sea,
yeah,
how much of the sea is now currently holy
water? The tsunami that's hitting India.
And now this is holy water. Please take out India.
Not take them out, just bring them to God.
Real quick.
Yeah.
It's symbolic. I don't think it actually has to be holy water. I think it just has to be water.
I thought it was holy water. Like, because you're basking and bathing in holy water. You become a new person.
As long as you eat the flesh of Christ and then drink his blood, I think you're good.
I just don't understand. I got in trouble for that. So, like, okay, his name's Jesus Christ, right? My gardener's name, Jesus. I bit his leg because body and blood of Christ. I get arrested?
Oh, yeah.
I'm just doing my Christian duty.
By gnawing on my gardener.
Also, he fucked up my azaleas.
Oh, man. All right.
What does a sling blade look like? I don't
know what a sling blade looks like.
I imagine it's like a mini scythe.
If you can't find it, look up Kaiser Blade. Some people call it a Kaiser Blade.
I'm gonna have to because Sling Blade only brings up fucking posters for this movie.
Oh yeah, it's just a okay,
It's
yeah,
just a okay, yeah.
yeah.
Doesn't
It's
really
like a
look like a
small-
banana. Oh,
It's
maybe.
got a small hook on the end.
Yeah.
I was
It's a
fishing like,
banana.
way more curved.
What do you guys think of the boyfriend's god complex after he was in the middle of his apology and he's just like, I work construction, like I'm building the future. Like, worship me. I was just like, all right, buddy. Like,
I mean, that's how most people think, right? Like, most people are just like, oh my god, I'm so important.
I'm dumping hella loads in bitches. I'm creating the future. Oh, that reminds me of a joke I heard earlier today. Success is a lot
This guy
like
from
being
California and a guy
No,
from Idaho.
stop. We already told that joke. You didn't understand it, tiny dick. No.
Sure is deep.
Success is like pregnancy. Once you have it, everyone wants to congratulate you, but they don't want to hear about how many times you got fucked. It's also I can never talk to people about being pregnant because that's the first place my mind goes. It's not, oh yeah, we're trying to get pregnant. My mind is, oh, he's coming in lots. Hell, liters.
That's like the joke I told Zach yesterday, Jordan. I don't understand why we color code our children. Is it really just so that you know the shape of their genitals?
Oh, it's flavor.
Flavor of their genitals?
No.
Okay.
The child.
God damn it, Zach.
What is with you? You don't understand jokes about genitals and then you automatically assume I'm talking about kids' genitals? No, I'm talking about eating the kids. Not their genitals. Well, obviously their genitals because they're on them.
No, I picked that part out.
That's too much. I don't eat the genitals or the anus.
Sorry, but that's gay.
Regardless of genitals.
Yes.
Because as I've proven.
Dude, that baptism scene, those are Carl's only clothes. He only had that pair of clothes the whole movie.
Why did he get special privileges? Okay, so everyone else was wearing like piss-stained clothes in the mental institution, aside from the doctors, and Carl. Why did Carl get like special clothes privileges?
Because he didn't piss on his clothes.
But the other guy had a fucking like a robe. He had the full
probably
scrub,
based on
scrubs
how
and then a piss
dangerous
robe.
they were deemed.
Oh yeah,
Or how challenged they were, right?
30 years
That's
in
just-
the loony bin.
That's how the guards kept him under control. They just pissed on him.
It had to be longer than 30 years because he looked like he was fucking like 60 and he went in when he was like 12, right? So it had to be more than 30 years in the bin.
I don't know, but that Charles guy, I think, was an example of like how people used to get away with a criminal insanity plea. Because like he was going on and on, like it was fairly mild in the beginning, I admit, but at the end of the movie, he's literally joking around with Carl about duct taping a girl's mouth while she has like cotton or a shirt or something in her mouth.
A gag in her mouth.
Yeah, and he's just sitting there like giggling and laughing about it. And thankfully, Carl finally said what I was thinking, like, I don't want to listen to you anymore.
Yeah. Fuck off.
And then he made fun of Carl by just like rubbing his hands together. He's like, "Oh, you don't want to talk to me? You gimp."
I read a thing that in order for Robert Edward Thornton, what's his name?
Billy Bob Thornton.
Sure, for him to have the limp that Carl had, he put crushed glass in one of his shoes.
That'll do it. I don't know why you wouldn't just put like a couple of rocks in there instead of something that will actually cut you up.
No, crushed glass. He's a method actor. He became the retard.
The scene where Frank is just Doyle kicks all the people out and then he puts hands on Frank's mom and Frank just goes apeshit and starts hucking shit at him. That he actually ran out of props while throwing things, so he started throwing like real books and those encyclopedias and shit, and fucking hit him. Like the actor played Doyle was just like, he's like, one hit me in the ribs, almost took the wind completely out of me, and then which was hilarious to hear that was the thing. But then when even in the scene where he was just like, okay, all right, holy fuck. It's just like, you knew he was just hurting. And you couldn't tell if he was acting the character or it's because, like, he fucking got whaled.
The kid ran out of props. No one yelled cut. He improvised.
Yeah. This is a genius kid. And now he's the leader of Tokyo Drift.
He's DK.
Unlucky.
And he was in...
He went downhill.
Hey, Tokyo Drift is one of the best out of that whole franchise.
I heard some of
It's
it was
like
actually shot.
top 9.
Top 9. Is there 9 movies? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The 9th one's coming out.
Fucking people were still obsessed with the movies. I've seen the first 3, maybe? I don't know. I've seen 1 and 2, and then Tokyo Drift.
Same. Those are the ones I've seen.
And then from there, I'm pretty sure I could just fill everything in. Something happens. We need to drive cars. Oh no, one of the family is hurt and or dead and or missing. We need to drive cars, but faster.
Except for plot twist, the one that died in the first or second movie is actually alive and comes back later. Oh my god.
Yeah.
What a
Holland's
twist.
coming back.
And now instead of it being Vin Diesel's, it's The Rock
No.
and Jason Statham's?
No, that's different. That's a spin-off.
What?
Yeah.
That was Calvin and Hobbes.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Kevin Hobbs is a comic about a boy and his stuffed tiger. And
Yeah, The Rock's the boy, and the other one's the stuffed tiger.
You best be careful with saying that. You're going to wake up with The Rock choke slamming your ass.
The Rock doesn't choke slam.
It doesn't matter what he does.
I'll have you know.
All right. What else? All right, let's get some ratings in. I think it's about that time. We got about 8 minutes left, and usually our ratings take a bit. So
Why don't you start us off this time,
Yeah,
huh?
I will. Pretty sure
Yeah,
I started
Big
off last time.
Bitchington.
Quit pushing everything
come
up
on, Big
us,
Bitchington.
Huh? Give us some
Yeah,
respect.
come on, Zach.
It's called being a host.
Jesus.
You got a tiny dick and you don't understand big dick jokes.
I don't need to understand big dick jokes. That's compensating.
You have a medium dick.
Yeah.
It talks to ghosts.
Spooky.
You have a fucking dead joke.
Spooky
Do,
penis.
do you get that joke, Zach?
Yeah, I got
get
it.
it.
A medium dick, because mediums
Yeah.
speak to...
Like
It wasn't
medium
the
rare.
size reference. It wa-
Hey, you're not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal.
He doesn't know that meme, so it's fine.
Oh,
No,
absolutely.
I don't.
I'm gonna give this movie an 8.
Why?
8, maybe a 9. Let's go 8.5.
Whoa.
Let's pick an
whoa.
actual. Let's
Whoa,
pick
whoa,
an
whoa.
8.5.
Is it
Let's pick a
8.5 or
real number.
8.5?
On the spectrum, thank you.
8.5. 8 medium. It was.
What is an 8 medium?
You can talk to Gus. We just went over this.
The acting was well done for the most part. The writing was good. Like the script was good. The camera, the shooting, cinematography, and everything like that was great. Honestly, 20 minutes in, once I got like more of the acting from Billy Bob Thornton, I knew I was going to rate the movie high. It's pretty simplistic, and you can sort of predict what's going to happen throughout, but still getting there, having the awkward scenes where it feels like the camera's staying on too long, and everything like that. It hit all the right buttons. Not a perfect movie, but it was solid. I would 100% watch this movie again. What about you, Jeff?
I'd probably give it like a 7. I think the acting was good. The cinematography without the jump cuts and whatnot was good. The movie itself made you feel anxious or awkward, which was basically what it went out to be. Overall, the plot was pretty coherent. There was, like I said before, some things that seemed a little superfluous. But yeah, I'd probably watch it again without too much fuss if someone offered to put it on. That's not a big deal. I think its weakest part was just making a story that wasn't like super predictable from the very beginning. Like I said, as soon as you met the boyfriend, you're just like, all right, he's dead, and fucking Jimmy John Thornton is going to be the one to kill him, right? So, but other than that, yeah, it was a story that was relatively interesting. It didn't do anything like outrageous, but the acting and cinematography was good. So yeah, I'd give it probably like a 7.
That's pretty much a 10 for Jeff normally.
Yeah.
This is the highest rating I think we've ever gotten out of Jeff.
No, I gave Scott Pilgrim vs. the World a higher rating than that.
How could you do that to Billy Bob Thornton's?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Jimmy John Thornton.
A man who you can't even say his fucking name.
Stimmy
so
Pong
easy.
Morton. Come on. I'm gonna go ahead
Jimmy
and go in the middle and give it an 8. I definitely would watch this movie again. I would not hesitate to call it a classic. To be honest, it was a great piece of film. I think everyone should watch it. If you want to get into like filmmaking or the film industry, I think you should definitely take a look at this and steal as much as you can from it.
Yeah.
Not like just rip it off completely, but like
No, just like actually cut the movie up and just put scenes of it in your movie. It's great.
just cut it, splice in half an hour of just him staring out the window at the loony bin.
It's a bird. It's a plane.
Mm-hmm.
It's Carl.
I like them French fried potatoes. But yeah, I'm gonna give it an 8. The cinematography was really good. I would like to see it remastered. I also want to know, because I read online that there is a director's cut that's 12 minutes longer than the theatrical release. And I'd like to see if that's the one that we watched, or if there's anything different that I would notice from it.
How long was the one you watched? Do you guys know?
2 hours and 14 minutes.
Yes, that's fine. So we watched the same one.
Okay. But yeah, fantastic movie. I think that modern cinema could probably take some things from this. Like, stop with the fucking jump cuts. It's too much.
Yeah.
My phone decided to delete everything, so as I'm redoing all my calculations, I'm just going to do some vitriol. And we got a 7.83.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I said 7, not 7.5, didn't I? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You trying to fucking tell me that I don't know how to do math when I'm putting it into a calculator on a computer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are but a man, you fucking electric jello bitch.
My dad was having trouble using a calculator the other day. He kept getting the wrong answer.
I understand how.
Hit the wrong buttons, probably.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
I think it might be worse, but I think that one scene where the drunk guy was like freaking out and pushing people and books were getting thrown. I wonder what the effect would have been if the camera was at a different angle instead of Jimmy John Thornton being like barely seeable at the bottom. If he took up more of the screen and it like superimposed his complete lack of reaction beyond the chaos happening in the background, and maybe they'd have to like spruce up the chaos a little bit more since it's not like the focus anymore, but would really like accentuate his complete lack of emotion and action. You know what I mean? I don't know if it'd make it better or worse. I just think it would be interesting to see.
Yeah. Yeah, because he like definitely nailed it when it came to stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like just either just sticking and being fully immersed into that character, and the disability was just spot on. And you wouldn't know it that he's the guy who plays Bad Santa too.
Yeah, two like vastly different ends of the spectrum on that one. I would. One more thing before we go. I think I would like them to hire an actual fucking mechanic, or like put the guy who's playing a mechanic into a course or something, or like just have one on set. Be like, yeah, say this instead, because I don't understand how someone who is trained for this and this is their job, they've been doing this for years, gets outplayed by a guy who's been in the loony bin since he was fucking 12.
Yeah.
Probably because the dude that is a mechanic is also retarded, because they've been trying to start that thing all day and didn't check to see if it has gas. So I think he just fits right in.
Yeah.
Then one of the things, this is completely useless knowledge, and I'm not going to fact check it because fuck you. But when he says check the points, when he's talking about the lawnmower, that was a 2-stroke. They don't have quote unquote points.
Spark plug points sometimes is what they refer to.
Yeah, but the lawnmowers back then didn't have them.
Back then, I don't know. I know nowadays they do.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
nowadays we've got fucking air-conditioned lawnmowers. And lawnmowers that you fucking program. You don't even have it's a robot.
I want one of those.
I want an all-in-one. They have a vacuum / mopping robot now. Now all they need to do is add the lawn onto it. And then fucking just scoot out the doggy door after cleaning the floors.
Cutting up your floor. Son of a bitch!
You shouldn't have got shag carpet.
All right. Next week, you guys can join us. We'll be reviewing The Life of Pi.
I've seen this movie.
Yeah.
So have I several times.
Yeah. Tiger's going to eat the child.
No.
I've seen
Why
it
not?
once.
So you can join us then.
Read the book though.
Have
Have you guys read the book at all?
No,
Sorry,
no.
I keep cutting you off.
Not
Okay.
at all.
Okay, well, we'll talk
Pretty
about that next week,
presumptuous
obviously.
of you to assume that I know how to read.
Join us on Twitch, twitch.tv/bytherailside every Saturday after we record around 8:30 p.m. Eastern, as well as Friday nights and Tuesday nights. Follow us Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, all those places. We're by the Railside. And have a good night.
Keep it fresh.
Don't be retarded.